everybody, it's Jeff the Fan 12312 here, and welcome you guys back to another episode of Let's Play Pikmin 2. In the last episode, we got practically to the final subfloor of the entire game, and in this episode, I'm recording post-commentary because the commentary I did not record properly. I don't know why. So, the entirety of this episode will be post-commentary. At least I have game audio. So everything about this recording completely failed. It would not open in Adobe Premiere at all. I had to download Windows Live Movie Maker, and under the vain hope that I would be able to salvage any of this recording at all, because I would have no way of getting back here aside from replaying the entire game. And obviously I did not want to do that. So I was able to save the video and the game audio. So anyway, here's what happened. I went around pretty much the entire thing looking for safety, as you guys saw. I found it, hid there. And then I was reading this stuff. For him to venture to these depths alone, the desire of man is a thing to behold. But Louis is not moving. Could he have exhausted his strength in reaching these depths? There may yet be time. Quickly, to Louis' aid! To Louis' aid! That's the type of energy I had in the first place. I'm really upset at losing my original commentary because I think it actually... The fight did not go well. Nothing's been going well in this playthrough lately. But, at least... I thought I had really good commentary when I did it. And, it was really upsetting... It was really upsetting to know that I lost my commentary, purely because, like I said, I thought my commentary went really well. So, to hit a point where it was literally that I don't have it's really upsetting to me. And I knew what would happen if I had to record post-commentary. I would spend most of the entire post-commentary complaining about having post-commentary, and that's what I've been doing. But yeah, here's we go through just fighting the Titan Dweevil. I noticed that I lost some Pikmin because I heard the sound. The monster pump is really frustrating to deal with because of the fact that it can hit across the whole thing. That's why it's the first one I'm trying to take out. Because the monster pump, like I said, it can hit everyone, including the rest of your Pikmin that you don't have in the arena. It's the only one where its attacks can go past the arena. So I would recommend taking it out first, as I attempt to do in this playthrough. Yeah, I end up losing a lot of Pikmin to this guy, but, we'll just see how it goes. Yeah, see, I lost even more there. I don't think I even noticed it while I was playing. It's really weird because 9.5 times out of 10 when I play this game, I don't have the monster pump hit my other Pikmin at all. And in this playthrough, it hit them nearly every time that it activated, and it was really frustrating. I feel really upset that I won't be giving you guys the reactions that I had originally, because, like, they were honestly pretty good. If you like someone being very upset, they were really good reactions. But, I just figure since I do have to redo this entire recording, I might as well at least, like, explain the fight and make sure everything's explained well. So what we have here... it's really actually can be a little hard to watch sometimes, but at the same time it's like, it's not hard to watch because I feel like I'm doing a bad job. It's just because it was hard to play, so it's really hard to have to reminisce through the whole thing. Remembering what was difficult about playing it every step of the way. Oh. Yeah, it was at this moment, I remember now, it was at this moment where I had said that I wasn't sure if I'd even be able to show off the comedy bomb because he hadn't used it at that point. He then immediately uses it, and uses it, and uses it, and uses it. Yeah, this is where I get trapped, because this is the only time where captains can be hit. I get trapped by the poison because it hits me the moment I get up. I lose most of my yellows and I say, fuck it, I'm redoing this run. Which was really upsetting to have happen because I was doing surprisingly well in that run, aside from having lost some of my random Pikmin that don't actually matter in the background. But it really pissed me off because, like I said before, this is the only time that you can experience poison that harms captains, and I got trapped in a loop where I couldn't even save my Pikmin to let them get poisoned later. I was just completely trapped in a loop where I couldn't do a thing. And I lost, I believe, 13, because I had already lost one, yellows in that one loop because I had no possible way of saving them. And yeah, the Titan Dweevil's attacks here, because this thing is called the Titan Dweevil and it's being controlled by Louie, the Titan Dweevil's attacks here can still harm your captains even if you have the protection. So the electricity will still harm your captain and the fire will still harm your captain even if you have the power-ups that make it so those don't hurt your captain. It's really annoying in the sense of I would personally have expected for the game to build it up so that you can... So, like, the whole idea being the final boss is made easier if you make sure to get all the power-ups. Like, that makes sense. Also, I find it funny that he goes right out and uses the comedy bomb, like, over and over and over again. Right here. It's almost like when he heard me say that I wasn't sure I'm going to see the comedy bomb, he basically said, I'm going to use that like 12 times in a row. Also, it was like 4 times in a row, but still. I will say there isn't another reset, so don't worry about there being another reset. I still go after the Monster Pump first because I recognize that the Monster Pump is the most dangerous technically. Like, in some ways it's the least dangerous to your squad that are fighting him, but it is the most dangerous to the rest of your squad, and each of these treasures requires 30 Pikmin to carry, so if your squad that you're using to fight is less than 30, then you need to be a little worried here. And, this guy 100% hit my other squad. I'm pretty sure we'll see soon that, yeah, I lost 3. And I immediately realized in that moment, like, wait, I lost 3? How did that happen? And that was because of the Monster Pump, which is really annoying. I don't know why I went and checked on them at this point. Anyone that was still covered in water would have been dead by now. But yeah, there's just a lot to this fight, but I still personally believe it's the easiest final boss fight in all of Pikmin. Because I've experienced 3 final boss fights in Pikmin, because, you know, 3 Pikmin games. Emperor Bulblax in the first game is extremely freaking difficult. I always struggle with him and the way he's set up, and I don't really know exactly why, but he's just annoying. The final boss of Pikmin 3 is a very long, drawn-out, and annoying encounter. There are ways to make it somewhat easy, but even if you do those, it's still not super easy. You guys will see that when I actually play through Pikmin 3, which will be once I beat Pikmin 2 Challenge Mode. But, yeah, this guy, I still 100% believe him to be the easiest final boss of any Pikmin game, as I've said like 4 times now. But, yeah, I lost a lot of Pikmin there. I just didn't care. I hit a point where I'm like, I'm not going to keep resetting. I just want this done. Not because I don't like this game. I love this game. But for some reason, my playthrough in this one, in Pikmin 2, my recorded playthrough sucked. And I can't even say that, because we'll see later that this was, in many ways, according to the in-game stats, this was my best run of this game. It was the one that had the least amount of days. It had the least amount of Pikmin lost period, and most of the ways that you could lose Pikmin, it had the least amount there. I also had the least amount Pikmin raised, which is seen as a good thing in the game. So, like, technically this was by far the best run I've ever had of this game, but it was also the worst run because there just had so many terrible things happen. And I think if I hadn't reset the many times that I did, which I feel a little bad about resetting, but I did it anyway. But if I hadn't done that, then I think we would have a problem at that point. There, I finally get the monster pump off, so I'm no longer worried about the rest of my squad. But now I still need to take out the comedy bomb, the flare cannon, and the shock therapist. Saving the shock therapist for last, because when he's down to one weapon, all he does is constantly spam that weapon. And if your Pikmin are immune to that weapon, it makes the whole fight much, much, much easier. Granted, that does mean that... Oh, and there goes the comedy bomb. Granted, it does mean that if you had... Like, if you left just the flare cannon, then you would just bring in reds instead. But I like just using yellows because they can be thrown the highest, so you're not worried about them hitting. And then just going after the shock therapist last, so that you can just keep using the yellows so you don't have to, like, trade. For some reason, most of the time when I watch people play this game, they end up in a position where... usually, for some reason, it's the comedy bomb that's left. That's the last one, and I don't know why. I think part of it is they constantly go after the shock therapist, just because I think most people don't really plan when they jump into this. They just... Aside from the plan of use yellows so they don't get insta-killed, and they just jump into it and just throw Pikmin at whatever, instead of going after something specific. Oh yeah, here's... One thing is, he spams the flare... Wow. He has, in this playthrough at least, he spammed the flare cannon a lot. When it was just, the shock therapist and the flare cannon left, he spammed the flare cannon instead of the shock therapist. It almost makes me think that he actually grew a brain. But in some ways, it would be kind of cool if they had actually coded it that way, at least to an extent, because of the fact that the game heavily implies that it's Louis in charge of this thing, and Louis understood how Pikmin types and stuff worked because he was our first playable character aside from Olimar. So it would be kind of cool if it actually input an AI where it didn't use the weapon that you were immune to. That were, like, if you came in with just a party of yellows, it wouldn't use the shock therapist because it knows you're immune to it. It would make this fight a lot harder, but it would also be really cool. I'm kind of glad they didn't do that, because there are many moments where it's nice that it just uses the shock therapist and we can just go. And then it would make sense for him to then spam the weapon despite knowing that your Pikmin can't be hurt by it, because it's like, what else is he gonna do, you know? Granted, I can imagine that doing that would be very difficult to program, especially noting that, oh, there goes the shock therapist. Noting that if you bring in more than just one type of Pikmin, they would it would then need to, like, average between them or something. Now, let me point out something with this guy. If you kill him while a bitter spray is in effect on him, he will spit out a crap ton of potions and stuff. But I've never seen the point in doing that because this is the final boss. The main point in doing that I could see would be as if you visited the Dream Den before finishing the game and still had some caves that would be difficult ahead of you, like if you had the Hole of Heroes ahead of you or the Subterranean Complex, then I could see it. But this guy's death is honestly really cool looking. I really like the way he bubbles, like you can see here, he just bubbles out. And I always do this cave last because I know it's the final one in the game, so it never occurred to me, well, I saw someone play this game before I played it myself. Here's Louis. Let me read the ship's text here. Louis? Are your life functions fading? No, I skipped past it. I can't read that fast. Anyway, I always thought it would be really cool to... Wait, what was I saying? I legitimately lost track of what I was saying because I tried to be so diligent in reading the text, I legitimately lost track of what I was saying. That's kind of upsetting, actually. Oh well. Getting the, stuff back now. Let me double check and make sure this is still recording, because that would be really frustrating. It appears to still be recording. I hope it is. Okay, it is. Good. Okay. Yeah, I lost 28 total Pikmin in this cave, and I don't know exactly how many of them were on this floor. It was 11, actually. I know I came in this floor with 83, and I ended it with 72, so it was 11. I really wish I remembered what I was talking about before. I know it would be really hard to program when you have multiple Pikmin if you were to try and program smart AI into the thing where it only used the weapons that you were weak to, and if you brought in anything other than a group of one type, then they would be kind of screwed in that AI working. But anyway, I cannot remember what I was trying to say before. Oh well. So yeah, we finally beat the game. Here's Louis going in the thing. He's only worth 10 Pokos. King of Bugs. He calls himself the King of Bugs. And in leaving the cave, that's the end of this day and the end of this game. So that's nice. Cave complete. Saving. Collected a little over 29,000 Pokos in this playthrough. So that's about average in this game. If you collect all the treasures, you'll have about triple the loan. You've collected every treasure! Collected every treasure. And then we get to sit through this cutscene. Glowing Pikmin. Prezzy's laughing while Olimar is sad. That sounds about right. I don't know why the Pikmin are transparent here. That's always bothered me. Hey, look, onions. I've always wondered what they do with the purple and whites. Do they leave them on the planet to be devoured? Do they take them home with them to die in their atmosphere? I'm really curious. I've always been really curious about that. Pikmin 2. And up next is going to be the stats screen, but I'm not going to talk about the stats yet because I know that in the recording it scrolls, because the game scrolls through the stats automatically, and then it lets you move up, and in the recording I scroll up afterwards, and I stick on the top one for a little while because So the end sits on this screen for entirely too long. Yada yada yada, come on. There we go. And here's our high soar screen as it's moving down. Moving down rather slowly. Can go a little bit faster. Okay, that's it. And then scrolling back up to the top. Yeah, according to this is by far my best playthrough of this game, which I find weird. For only 14 days, when my second best was 17. Only lost 120 Pikmin when my second best was 175. But like I said before, the only reason this is my best playthrough is entirely because of the fact that I reset on the worst ones. So I ended up in a position where, by far the best for Lost in Battle, none left behind, which is the first time I did that. None lost to fire, first time I did that. 15 lost to water, not the best. Apparently I always drown a lot of Pikmin. 3 lost to electricity, which is not my best, but I've never had a playthrough where I didn't. And then 15 to explosions. 2 to poison, which is mid. 799 born. 200 reds, 203 yellows, 198 blues, which is by far my least amount of blues. 73 whites, 125 purples, and only 14 hours of gameplay. All of that is surprising. And this save right here is the reason why I couldn't go back and re-record this, why I had to do post-commentary, and why I was terrified of losing the video file because it wouldn't open in Premiere, and I was terrified. But yeah, what's left in this game is just going to be me going through and reading the Piklopedia entries and the Treasure Hoard entries. This video still has, I go to the Piklopedia to double check that that I'm not missing anything, that I have a complete Piklopedia, because that was my goal. And I do indeed have a complete Piklopedia, so that'll make my next video very easy. Once you get the president, the game gives you the totals for your treasures, and it shows anything that's missing in the Piklopedia or the Treasure Hoard shows up as a separate square, rather than just being missing. So just scrolling through it and seeing no squares showing things are missing proves that you have everything. But that should be getting really close to the end of this video. So next time we'll be going through the Piklopedia and the Treasure Hoard, and that'll be that. Sorry for the not super exciting nature of this one, but this is better than me having to replay the game or just not have a finale video. At least you guys could see my run against the Titan Dweevil. But that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.